Good evening from Turin, Italy. I'm Josh Friedman, coming to you from outside the NH Lingotto Congress Hotel here in Torino, or Turin as it is pronounced in English, where I think we can now confirm that starting tomorrow and lasting through Sunday, the 2018 Bilderberg Conference will be taking place here. As I've been reporting to you over the past couple days, there had been many suspicions that the 2018 Bilderberg Conference would be taking place at this complex behind me that had yet to be confirmed by the Bilderberg Group. In fact, it is still not officially confirmed, but the preparations are obviously underway at this point. As it regularly occurs in the lead up to Bilderberg conferences, today the hotel behind me was shut down. It was basically closed to the public. No guests are allowed to be staying there tonight. To the best of my knowledge, there has been a large police presence that has come into town today. There are police situated outside the complex right here, which, as I've explained already, this complex is a very interesting, in fact, very connected location to Bilderberg, that is. So the building behind me is both the 8-gallery mall and the Lingotto Hotel. The building right over here is a Fiat headquarters building, and Fiat and its chairman are, according to some people, in a sense hosting this Bilderberg conference. John Elkann is the chairman of Fiat Chrysler. He is a member of the Bilderberg steering committee. There are reportedly very close ties between Bilderberg and Fiat, the Italian automotive company that is based right here in Turin. So what's happened today is the hotel has been closed, and not just the hotel, but this entire main entrance for the hotel and the mall has been shut to the public. The mall remains open, although shoppers are being rerouted to different entrances in both directions, as well as around the back. There's another entrance over on the other side of the Fiat building that has also been closed. And like I said, lots of police are here. There are police all around the hotel and mall complex. The various Italian police who are here are patrolling inside the mall, outside the mall. They're all over the place. They've been coming in by the busloads today, and even though it is still not formally confirmed that Bilderberg will be getting underway here tomorrow, it is all but certain now, as this is entirely typical of what happens in advance of a Bilderberg meeting. There is a very, very large security presence, as always is the case with Bilderberg meetings. These are described as being secretive meetings. I've discussed this in reports in the past. Everything that occurs in the meeting is off record. There are some journalists who are invited to attend, but they are not allowed to report on the meetings. Everyone who is reporting on the Bilderberg meetings is doing so from the outside, as is the case right here. There are various journalists roving around the complex here in the Lingotto area of Turin, and I hope to be speaking with at least a couple of them over the next several days to get their perspectives on this year's conference, including the attendees and the topics of discussion. And I bring those up because yesterday the Bilderberg Group released its annual press release, something that it's been doing in recent years, as it's arguably been forced to be a little more transparent about its meetings. And the annual press release contains a topics list. Often those topics are quite vague, and it might be stretched to call that an agenda. There's no way to corroborate that what's going on inside the meeting is exactly the topics that are on the agenda. And I might as well just read those off to you right now. There are 12 on this year's topics list. Number 1 is populism in Europe, which I expect to be discussing a little more over the course of this week. It is very interesting timing and location for this Bilderberg Conference to be taking place, being that just last week, Italy formed a new government, and it is a Eurosceptic government. It is an anti-establishment government, a coalition between two anti-establishment forces here in Italy, a founding member of the European Union, and that's a big development in the sense that the Italian government is now, at least in theory, anti-EU and anti-Euro, and the Bilderberg Group is known as being very pro-Western and very pro-European Union, and some critics have even accused Bilderberg over the years of actually coming up with the idea for the European Union or the euro currency, or both. Now, moving on, the second topic is the inequality challenge. Number 3 is the future of work. Number 4 is artificial intelligence. Technology is probably going to be a major factor in this conference, as it seems to be in Bilderberg's of late and probably heading into the future. Number 5 is the US before midterms. Those are the midterm elections coming up. Number 6 is free trade. That's also interesting timing, and I'm sure it relates to the US, as there's currently a heated debate between Europe and the US. We can throw in Canada and Mexico in there as well, over trade and tariffs, and in the case of North America, the future of NAFTA. Number 7 is US world leadership, more about the United States, probably more about the United States as it relates to the Trump presidency. Number 8 is Russia. Russia often appears on the Bilderberg topics list, albeit this is a meeting primarily of Western elites, so primarily people from North America and Europe. Rarely, if ever, does someone get invited from Russia, and this group that we'll be meeting here today is consisting largely of people who are not so fond of the Putin government in Russia, yet at the same time there might be some business deals going back and forth. So Russia is an interesting topic. Number 9 is quantum computing, more having to do with tech. Number 10 is, I would say, a new one, Saudi Arabia and Iran. That should be interesting for a couple of reasons, one of which I might delve into later in this week, and that is the mega future city that is being planned in northwestern Saudi Arabia. And the developer of that city, Klaus Kleinfeld, is on the participants list. Number 11 is the post-truth world. They put post-truth in quotes. And number 12, as often appears on the Bilderberg topics list, is merely current events. And maybe the fact that they keep throwing current events on there is a sign that the topics list does not really reveal what exactly is going on in the meeting, but who knows. The press release also says that this year there will be a total, or at least thus far it is confirmed, that there will be a total of 131 participants from 23 different countries. Excuse me, my arm is getting a little tired here outside the NH Lingotto. And those participants include very interesting and powerful names, as is always the case at Bilderberg. Henry Kissinger, a long-time Bilderberg attendee, the most senior living member of the group, will be here, at least according to the press release, despite speculation that his health is not good enough for him to attend. He's getting up there in age. The King of the Netherlands, who has been to past Bilderbergs, or at least one, will be in attendance, as well as several prime ministers in Europe. I believe the Netherlands prime minister is also going to be in attendance. Some other interesting names, like I've already mentioned, John Elkann of Fiat. Once again, this is the Fiat headquarters building. People are saying that Elkann is basically the host to the entire event. As also I've mentioned in a prior report this week, this building that you're looking at directly behind me, which houses the hotel and the mall. That's actually an old Fiat auto factory. Let's see, some other powerful people and interesting names. Jens Stoltenberg, the head of NATO, will be here. He has definitely come to Bilderberg in the past. David Petraeus, the former U.S. general and CIA chief, he will be back here. He's becoming a regular Bilderberg participant. And probably the most interesting name to pop up on the list, and excuse me, I'm actually forgetting the exact name, but probably the most interesting person to pop up on the list, at least according to many of the observers and people walking around here in Turin, is a cardinal who is the Secretary of State of the Vatican. And it really remains to be seen, and I don't know if we're going to get any sort of grasp of why it is that he's here and what the connection is between the Vatican and Bilderberg. It's probably going to be left up to speculation, but nonetheless, it's very interesting, and it's caught a lot of people's eyes when glancing at the participant list that the Secretary of State of the Vatican will be here. The Vatican is not regularly represented at Bilderberg. In fact, I don't even know if the Vatican has previously been represented at Bilderberg, but quite possibly. So this report is starting to drag on a little bit. I'm going to cut it off from here, but I will be, over the course of this week, the meeting will be taking place Thursday through Sunday. I'm going to be continuing with reports, trying to conduct a couple interviews with some people who can add interesting perspectives as we delve a little deeper into the attendees list and maybe think and speculate a little bit about not just the participants, but the topics on the supposed agenda. So stay tuned to this YouTube channel, as well as my Steemit at Freeman Reporter, my Twitter at Freeman Reporter, my Instagram at Nomad Journalist. I am posting all across social media regularly and will be continuing to do so for the remainder of the week. For now, ciao from Turin.